You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. Now, sorry, don't cut it. Hey, everybody. McGill Billy here.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome back to One More for the Good Guys, where good guys gather to talk about the good things,
the good life,
and the people that make it that way. That's pretty damn close.
If
That's
that was
probably
like,
about
if what we wrote was like a version like NIV, that would have been ESB. That's really close.
Okay. All things aside, hope all of you are doing well. Again, thanks for tuning in this week. We got a pretty good show for you lined up, I think. At least we hope so. But first, like we like to get our thank yous and our all that good stuff out of the way. Thanks so much for everybody following us on our social medias, as well as here on the YouTubes. We watch the Instagram and Facebook.
As Twitter. Well as in person when we're out playing.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments when we're out playing and in person. Mm-hmm. And then emails and stuff folks saying they enjoy the show. TikTok and Twitter and here on the YouTubes. So thank you.
Soon to be on Rumble.
Be on Rumble. Yes.
Just for
and we'll be able to do a lot more
cigar related
openly
content.
Cigar related content.
We're not leaving any place. We're just adding Rumble.
No.
Yeah.
But thank you. We appreciate all of the support. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or followed any of the accounts yet, please do so, because it is your one free way to help the channel, and it truly does help the channel if you do that every time. Yep. If you like our videos, you subscribe to our videos, and or follow us on the social media platforms, it helps. So all of that to get into this week's topic, which we're going to be talking about the NCAA men's tournament, March Madness. But before we get into that, like we always do, we'll tell you what we're smoking.
Both smoking the same thing today.
Yeah.
Don't do that often.
We don't do that often.
Probably should, though, really.
Yeah.
Well, it changes the experience. If you're smoking something different, might get a little waft of that. Not very much, of course.
Well, I mean, the big thing is,
I like to do a compare and contrast.
And
I want to know what you think.
And the big thing is I don't listen to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I'm just kidding. Any rate,
this one's a banger. I'll tell you right now. This
is a really, really, really good cigar, and we're glad to have some of these. So if you've been wanting to try, you should look us up. This is the Zeno Platinum Scepter Series by Davidoff.
Is that Zino?
Zino.
So like wino.
It is named after Zeno, the original Davidoff, granddad or who?
Granddad Z?
Zeno, nice. Correct. But this is a 5.2 by 52, 5.5 by 52 Robusto.
Plus.
Extra. Grande. But they call it a Robusto. Which
nice size. I like it.
What we'll call it too. Yeah, it's just a little bit. It's kind of in between, most of your, it's kind of in between a Toro and a Robusto. So, some folks, man,
I wonder why they named that size after a lawnmower.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Toro.
It's 8 horse. But anyway, Zeno Platinum Series and the Robusto, man, they're
pretty freaking good, man.
They're really, really good. This is a top notch.
Yeah.
This is if you're a baller, then you can smoke them every day, and we'll get them to you. If you're somebody who enjoys a special cigar from time to time, these are those.
And as soon as I cut it, what did I say? I was like, man, this thing's nice.
Yeah.
It's like
cap was just,
it was a car or something. Man,
all the cuts, nice. Caps, perfect construction.
Cold draw, I wouldn't have thought would have tasted like this when I lit it, though. Very different.
Yeah. And these are still a little bit new to our inventory. So I can only imagine what they would be like in another month from now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you.
And I've already had 2 cigars today, too. So, but even with that, wrapper, Ecuadorian, Connecticut, origin, Dominican Republic, as well as so many Davidoff cigars are. Let's see. Filler is Dominican and Peruvian, and it says that the fillers are actually, are actually aged 4 years. The description they have says it is a fine draw and burn, showing big, creamy, chewy flavor with hints of coffee, cocoa, and nuts. So we're going to smoke the
coffee with cream, though.
Yeah, very creamy. Definitely chewy smoke texture, though.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Big.
If that's something you've not experienced, once you do experience, you'll be like, oh. Yeah, chewy smoke texture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell are they talking about? It's smoke, you dummy.
Mm-hmm. As Bill Burr says, tastes like smoke, you fucking asshole. But
it does.
My ash just fell off. Oh well. We're going to smoke it on down throughout the show, and we'll get back to you on our final results or midway point, whatever.
Now this sucker's
you guys know how it goes.
This sucker's going to have a plug in the middle of it to keep me from giving it a 90 plus. I can tell you that right now. Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Basically straight out of the box too.
Yeah.
Like we've not had them long.
A week.
Yeah. So.
And usually we will rest a cigar anywhere between 2 weeks to 3 months before we smoke them sometimes.
That's an attestament, though, to our supplier and the freshness of the cigars that we get.
This is correct. So
it's nice.
Zeno and Robusto Platinum Series. But topic of the day is the 2025 NCAA men's basketball tournament, March Madness. Pull up my notes. The actual the tournament started in 1982. I believe that's right. Or excuse me. Actually, before we get into that,
that was the women started in.
Yeah, I misspoke. Just hang on.
He's getting ready to ask me questions I'm going to miss. This is what we're getting at here. I know where we're going with this.
Mm-hmm. You want to explain it to him?
Okay, so on a previous episode, we started some of these topic episodes, like this one's about men's basketball tournament, and we came up with 7 questions apiece. Today's his turn, not a piece. One topic I'll do, he'll do the other, and you get a point. If you get it correct, you get 0. If you don't, he's 6 out of 7 in the women's tournament. And
so are we going to count that like that, or are we just going to count as one. Like if you get more questions right than you get wrong, then that's a victory. If you tie, you don't get shit. Like if you asked me, you'd have to either win or lose with 7 questions. You'd have to get at least 4 questions right.
Right, because there's no half. That's not a...
Right.
All right. So, okay, he won then. So we'll do it, but we got to make sure that we... But the problem is, though, is that we could both win all of them. Then we'd have to have a tiebreaker. Because we get... Okay, either way, we'll come up with how we're going to do it. But last week, I thought I had some bangers. They have to be true or false or a specific answer. Like we haven't done multiple choice yet, but we talked about it. But the other was a yes or no, which is saying true or false.
They have to have definitive answers.
Right.
And it's not going to be where you have to, unless we go in a tiebreaker and we did questions where you didn't get a choice or it was not yes or no or not true and false.
Right.
You had to provide the correct answer with no help or hints. But
so it can't be an opinion like
has to have
the Yankees are the greatest baseball team in history. True or false? Okay, obviously that's true.
That's fucking
but
false.
It's not. Not necessarily a provable fact.
Nobody in there. Don't start this flammery.
Like, here's a good one. How many championships have the Cubs won in the last 100 years? This is an easy one. It's one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And how many have the Yankees won ever? And the answer is, who gives a fuck? So, true or false? Question 1.
Oh, baseball's coming. It's coming.
Who cares?
It's the Dodgers and everybody else.
And we're going to get to that too. Mm-hmm. And, nobody likes you either, by the way.
I know.
So you know that.
I know. This cigar likes me.
And that's like, I don't know, reason number 137 why people don't like you.
True. True or false?
The first tournament was 80 years ago in 1939 with 8 teams. It was won by Oregon. Is that true or false?
1939. I'm going to say out of all that stuff, like it would be a miracle if Oregon was the first one, considering they probably didn't have a team. I'm going to say that's false.
Survey says you're wrong.
Oh, really? It's true.
It is true.
The first NCAA tournament was in 1939. Wow.
It only had 8 teams. In 1951, the field doubled to 16 and then kept growing in 1975, where the field numbered 32 teams. In 85, it increased to 64 teams. And in 2011, we have the current 68-team format, which was adopted.
Yeah, it says here the first 4, so the 66 through the 68, 65 through 68, that game is on March 18th and 19th.
Yeah, they're basically like
play-in games. Yeah,
I mean, I think they just should have called it that, but
how does that work? How does that work, though?
I don't know.
I don't either. I have to look that up.
I don't like it.
Obviously not an NCAA basketball expert over here. I'm 0 for 1. Go ahead.
Well, and that's the other thing with these questions. Even if they are multiple choice, even if they are true or false, even if they are yes or no, someone even unbeknowing of whatever, you still got a 50-50 shot of getting there.
True.
So it's not.
That doesn't make me feel any better at all. But you're right. It's accurate.
And it was not meant to.
Yeah, it's accurate. I read today that Cooper Flagg's shooting over 50% from 3-point range.
Wow.
In the last 10 games.
Okay.
Anyway, that's nuts.
I'm going to give you an easy one. Are you writing these down? Are you keeping track of your...
No, I 0 for 1's easy to remember. Trust me.
In 1982, sportscaster Brent Musburger popularized the term March Madness while covering the tournaments.
I mean, there's so much in that. It's so crazy and so many details. True.
Survey says correct answer.
Okay, good. Man, these detailed ones, it's like one detail's off, it's false.
Yeah.
Not
but
10.
I'm not.
It's crazy, though. You wonder if that had something to do with the women's tournament going on, too, because that same year, 82 was when the women's tournament started. So now it's March Madness because there's all this going. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I have to ask him. Is he still alive, Brent?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is a shame on all you bastards that have a vote.
Absolutely, because if I wish that some bitch would come back.
CBS.
Wish he'd come back and do some games because it is ridiculous who they got going now.
The NFL on CBS, the whole studio show, if you guys don't know this, for any of our younger people, was written, directed, and brought to life by none other than Brett Musburger, and is what all of the other talking head, the Fox show, the CBS show, all of them still use that model to this very day. The Thursday night, or not Thursday night, but Sunday Night Football in America, same difference. Okay.
All right, 1 for 1.
Question number 3.
Or 1 and 1, rather.
Kansas City has played host to the Final Four 10 times, more than any other city. Is that true or false?
Does that make sense? It's a central location. Where in the hell are they playing it in Kansas City, though? I'm going to say that's false.
Survey says you are incorrect, sir. That is true. Wow.
Where are they playing it at? They say?
I don't know. Kansas City.
Okay.
Okay, let's skip ahead here. This would be a little
1 and 2.
I had some better
stats I can do. This.
Okay. Stats, you say?
I just put my I now just really screwed myself.
I've got like 30 questions,
you
know. I mean, so I'm trying to because I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure he's getting a fair shot, unlike you changing one word or, you know, your normal flim-flammery and levels of flim-flammery and bamboozlement and cheating.
Yeah, obviously none of that shit works.
That comes to, well, hell no.
No.
8 schools, question number 4. 8 schools have won more than 2 NCAA tournament titles. Which one of these has not? First multiple choice. Kansas, Villanova, North Carolina State, or Connecticut.
So ultimately, I'm one of those 4 teams has not
won more than 2.
Has not won more than 2.
8 schools have won more than 2 NCAA tournament titles.
Okay.
Which one of these has not? Kansas, Villanova, North Carolina State, or Connecticut?
Well, Connecticut's won more than 2 for sure. Hell, they won 2 in a row this lately. Mm-hmm. NC State, that's Valvano won, and I'm pretty sure they had another one. So, and Villanova beat Georgetown once, and then they had at least another one, but only one of these fits the criteria, which means only one of these has 2 or less. Correct. That's what you're saying.
You keep 8 schools have won more than 2 NCAA tournament titles. Which one has not? Yes. One of these teams does not have more than 2.
I'm going to say Villanova.
Survey says that's incorrect, sir.
God, North Carolina State.
Yep. Yeah, they've only got the
2.
Yeah.
I didn't know Villanova had 3.
Yeah, they got one with Massimino, and then the guy that does they got two with him. The guy that does the broadcast stuff now, and I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
1 and 3. I have to get the rest of them right, or I L.
Okay. Question number 5. The Vols have been to the Elite Eight once in 2010. Tennessee advanced to the Sweet 16 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different times. Would you like to know the dates? Let me repeat that question. Tennessee, forget the Elite Eight. I didn't mean to read that. Sorry. Bad form here. Question number 5. Tennessee has advanced to the Sweet 16 8 different times.
Okay.
Is that true or false?
Tennessee men, the question is, the Tennessee men have advanced to the Sweet 16 8 times.
Correct. In school history.
No way in hell. False.
Survey says.
That's right, for sure. Really?
Yeah. We have went to the Sweet 16 8 different times. 1967, 81, 2000, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2014, and 2019.
So thank you, Bruce Pearl, basically. Said you had 4 of those. Right.
Sure.
Wow. Hey.
Shall we continue?
This ain't my category, apparently. Yeah, go ahead. Great.
You love this.
This cigar is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, it really
Okay,
is.
so
It's phenomenally good.
You give that to anybody about, look,
Oh, yeah.
you don't like this, get out. For those
Straight
of you
up
that say, I don't like
mild.
Connecticut's,
Well, this is not your typical Connecticut. Look at all that blue smoke coming off.
Oh, man.
I mean, that smokes like a Liga. You know what I mean?
Dang.
That output. This is one that has flavor,
mm-hmm.
which we talked about this to a good buddy of ours, not to, just as a sidebar here, is it's from what I have studied, from what I've read, from what I've gathered, and information about cigars and making cigars, it is harder to make a mild to medium
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah.
cigar that is big on flavor versus something that is medium to full and big on flavor.
I believe that. Well, they nailed it, this one.
Yeah, this is a really, really top-notch cigar. Would be great. And I'll tell you what, man, like this would be even great after a dinner, wouldn't it?
Any time of day.
Any time of day, not just the morning, typical morning thing that Connecticut's get riled into.
Dropped it and broke it.
Okay, question number 6. Where is the NCAA based out of? Glendale, Arizona, Dallas, Texas, Indianapolis, Indiana, or Greensboro, North Carolina?
Indianapolis.
Correct. And the last question about the NCAA men's basketball tournament. You like the way I said that? Tournament. I'll read a more direct question because you're
Already lost.
you're a
L.
loser. I knew that.
L.
Loser. It's over. Question number 7. Which team? No, I didn't ask you that. No. Which team has never won the NCAA men's basketball championship?
University of Tennessee. True.
Out of these four.
Okay.
A, Notre Dame. B, Ohio State. D, Wyoming. C, Wyoming. Or D, Cincinnati. Your choices of which team has never won the NCAA men's basketball championship is A, Notre Dame. B, Ohio State. C, Cincinnati. Or D, Wyoming. You got to think this goes back a long freaking ways.
Yeah, I know. That's why, in my mind, I'm thinking I've never seen Notre Dame win one, but hell, it was around 35 years before we were born. So who knows? And of course, they ruled that era, so probably did win one.
They certainly ruled football during that era, for sure.
I'm going to, because I can remember Ohio State in the Final Four because we played them and they had Greg Ogden.
Jim Jackson, too, that year.
And they beat us. And but they didn't win the championship. Now, that's not to say that they didn't before. Wyoming seems like such an obvious choice, so it's got to be not it, is all I'm thinking.
What's your gut?
Notre Dame.
Survey says number one answer. Notre Dame has never won the NCAA men's basketball championship.
Did it give the years for the other people?
It did not.
Wyoming's got to be back.
I'm sure.
Or at least before we were born.
Sure.
Yeah, Ohio State, that's a pretty tough one. So 3 and 4. I made a miraculous turnaround, but still wasn't good enough. L, loser.
A little too late, Jimmy.
That's right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, unless you finish too late.
So, for you, boys and girls out there keeping score at home, that's 1 for this guy and none for that guy.
0.
0.
Little idiot.
Any rate, well, we are recording this a day after the Vols, so we can have this come out on time. We were recording this a day after a horrible, horrible, horrible loss. Especially after beating Alabama and Texas A&M beating Auburn. We're coming off a horrible loss to the Ole Miss Rebels.
It, man, and just had a 1 seed, had locked in a 1 seed if we went out.
And who knows? Maybe if we go on and win the tournament, the SEC tournament, then maybe we can get it back.
I hope they lose the first game in the tournament they can rest.
Well,
the SEC tournament, that don't mean nothing.
Here's an interesting fact about that, though. The team there's never been a team that has lost the first game of a conference tournament has ever won the
NCAA tournament.
NCAA tournament, yeah.
It kind of spells that you're trending in the wrong direction at the wrong time, unless you just throw the game. But all right, so
that being said, it was a horrible loss, and then today, before we got together to record this episode, the Lady Vols lost to Vanderbilt for the second time this season.
Which has never happened.
And for the first time ever in school history that Vanderbilt has beat the Lady Vols twice in 1 year. So it's great to be a Tennessee Volunteer. Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what Jamie was talking about earlier.
It's like, my God, you know, it's great that we're winning, but boy, I was thinking about, we're like, man, the SEC's tough this year. No kidding.
Yeah.
It's just, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat,
man,
in the same week. Basically,
Absolutely.
that Alabama game was like that might have been the peak of UT basketball.
Yeah.
And then we just shit the bed in Oxford. I can't believe that. And now we got to go play Vanderbilt. And will it be that both squads lose to Vanderbilt twice in the same season? Could happen because Vanderbilt beat it the men
down there in that hellhole gymnasium.
Yeah, this time it's going to be over here.
Ugh. And it'll be senior day as well. It'll be the last time we see Ziegler. Last time we see Meshack.
Yep.
So would really love to see them just beat them till they were tripping over their lips going up the floor.
Yeah. I don't know if
just
Thompson Bowling is want to host any of the regionals. They might though.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how they picked. Don't they pick that based on the seeds? I'm not sure. But anyway, we don't have a number one seed as of today, so that's terrible.
Tennessee's played in the NCAA. Well, this is actually, that would not be correct. That would be 22. Yeah, that's right. We have played in the NCAA tournament 26 times in school history. We were there in 67, 76, 77, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 89, 98, 99, 2000, 01, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, 14, 18, 19, 21, 2, 3, and 4.
Earl Barnes era.
For sure. Before that was probably most success was had by Ray Mears and I guess Don DeVoe.
Yeah, Don DeVoe. Those early 80s teams would have been DeVoe. And our wrestling buddy. What he on those teams? Not our buddy, but the former UT player. I can't even name that. Nash.
No, he played under Mears, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, he's like 65-year-old.
Oh,
Nash
God.
is.
Mighty.
Kevin Nash for you.
I didn't know that.
For you wrestling fans. Do we have the, why don't you pull up the, we did that on the ladies of projections. Have they made any projections for NCAA? I've got a few more little things here I can read about the,
yeah, they got them right here.
The largest margin of victory in a championship game was UNLV Running Rebels, coached by Jerry Tarkanian, the Shark, over Duke, coached by Rat Face Mike Krzyzewski. Yeah, I said Rat Face. Hell with Duke.
Second greatest coach ever.
In 1990, the margin of victory was 30 points.
1990. You didn't say the teams yet.
UNLV Running Rebels, coached by Tarkanian, and Duke was over Duke, coached by Rat Face Krzyzewski, or however you say it. Too many fucking really, with all the consonants, we don't need that many.
Coach K.
And see,
they fixed that years ago.
Questions will be harder next time for you. Just
God, I hope not.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, those were layups.
Oh.
Those were layups. Highest scoring game in history.
A championship game?
No, just the highest scoring game in the tournament.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that
tournament
could be
history.
I don't know, somebody like Marquette or somebody.
Loyola Marymount.
Oh, yeah. That was the dude that
Hank Gathers
that died. Yeah.
Against Michigan. And this was in 1990.
Fab Five.
It was a combined 149 points.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, does it?
Not really.
79 to 70? That don't seem like that's that high. But still.
That's what this, I believe I got those answers from.
Well, I don't doubt it. I'm just saying that just doesn't seem high. But I guess in tournament play, a lot of defense going on, I guess.
And now I didn't look at the date, so that could have been. We do know this: UCLA has won the tournament 11 times, more than any other school. Kentucky ranked second with 8 championships, and North Carolina is third with 6. I believe Duke only has 5.
I think so. I was trying to think of who else would be in that Connecticut that's probably got 4 or 5. I think they got 5.
Yeah. Well,
I got 2 lately, and then I think back then, the coach that everybody knows had 2, and I think the other guy had 1. I think it's fine.
Who was the coach there before?
I can see his face, but I can't. Hurley's there now, but
it wasn't. Yeah. There have been 4 number 11 seeds to advance to the Final Four. You had LSU in '86, George Mason in 2006, Virginia in 2011, and Loyola Chicago in 2018.
Wow.
They are the lowest seeds ever to win their region. All 4 lost in the national semifinals.
So that means that a tournament's never been won by anything lower than a 10.
Since 1985, 2 number 1 seeds have met 7 times in the championship game. The most recent, this might be a little dated, but the most recent was in 2017 when North Carolina defeated Gonzaga. A top-seeded school has won the tournament 20 times out of 34 games since 1985.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that tells you something right there, because in my opinion, and I'm sure it's yours too, but the most fair path to a championship in any of the big 3 sports is this tournament.
Absolutely.
You might argue that the baseball tournament is too, because they actually go through more steps, more games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, you have a loser's bracket involved in baseball as well.
Yeah.
Which you don't have in,
basketball. Yeah,
basketball.
That's right. So, but it's the most fair way. So that tells me that the way they're picking the seeds, I'll take 20 out of 34 times if you pick the best team in the country. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can bet like that in Vegas, you can make money.
Oh, my God.
Probably.
They built Vegas over shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm. So that tells me, I remember when they used to talk RPI, and I guess they still do, but it seemed like their system for picking seeded stuff was pretty good. I'm sure there's been a lot of times somebody got on the bubble and should have been in and didn't. They're talking about 13 SEC teams this year. That's nuts, isn't it?
It is, and I don't see it.
Shit, man, I think they might run through the place. I think the SEC overall is so much better than any other conference right now in basketball.
Well, as a conference, maybe so. But
who do you think's the best team in the SEC, really?
Man, I'd say it had to be Auburn or Florida, wouldn't it?
I was going to say Florida. Auburn
it
doesn't
seems like
me.
Florida don't get in their own way as much. Now, that being said, that's what I was getting ready to pull up was the standings. Just due to what you said, you got Auburn at 27-3 over and all, 15-2 in the conference. Florida's 13-4 in the conference, 26-4 overall. Alabama's 12-5 at 23-7 overall. Tennessee's 11-6 at 24-6 overall. And Ole Miss right behind them at 10-7, 21-9.
That's one of the reasons that Tennessee has stayed as high ranked as they are with 6 losses, because they're number 4 in the SEC, but until yesterday, they were a number 1 seed with Auburn.
Yeah.
Which means they're a top 4 country team in the country, right? So all 6 of their losses are SEC losses. They didn't lose a game until they got to SEC, right? I think that's right. You just said they got 6 SEC losses and 6 losses overall. That's what you said.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yes.
All losses in the SEC. So that's why they're ranked as high as they are with 6 losses, because they've only lost to good teams. And 3 of them are listed right there.
Yeah.
4. Ole Miss is right under. It's lost to them.
Yeah.
So.
And Alabama's got 7 losses. And ranked above us. Or not in the, I don't think they are ranked above us in the polls.
No, I don't think so.
Any rate.
Well, they might be now.
And go on down the list. My point to be made, Missouri's 21-9. They're 10-7 in the league. A&M's 10-7 in the league, 21-9 overall. Kentucky's 9-8, 20-10 overall. Mississippi State 8-9, 20-10 overall. Vanderbilt 8-9, 20-10 overall. But now here's where it gets interesting, and here's why I don't feel like what you said could be used as not exactly what you said, but now let's say out of 20 win teams, I just read off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of the SEC. Right? Georgia's 7-10, 19-11 overall. Arkansas 7-10, 18-12 overall. Texas is 6-11 at 17-13. So, you're going to tell me Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas is, okay, maybe Georgia's a bubble team with
Arkansas
19 wins,
too.
But Arkansas with 18 wins, they got a losing conference record. Texas with a losing conference record. Where does the 13 come from? Does it come from the 13 we just read? If so, that would be Vandy, Georgia, and Arkansas. Is there any mid-major conferences? And I don't know the answer to this, and I don't expect you to know it either, but, did you find anything about projections too early?
Well.
But is there a mid-major team out there that, has, it used to be 18 games was your cut, and then it became kind of 20 became kind of the magic number.
And now who the hell knows?
And now, but the beauty and the charm of the NCAA tournament for me, and I can only say this personally, was seeing teams that maybe finished runner-up in the MAC, or maybe finished runner-up in the Sun Belt, or maybe finished runner-up but had great records come in and as a 16 or a 15 or say a 12 seed, come in and knock some things, knock some of the big teams off. I just don't see how Oklahoma fucking gets in.
Well, right here they say they're in
with 18-12.
Well, they say right here they're in on the first 4.
No, I understand, and that's why I just said what I said.
Okay, I got you.
But no, it was good you said it, because our people can't read what you're, and that's why I was thinking about with projection.
Was Oklahoma below those other ones we named?
Oklahoma's 5-12 in the fucking conference.
So that means 14 make it if Oklahoma makes it in?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, the only two teams Oklahoma is better than is LSU and South Carolina. And they're horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. 14 and 16 and 12 and 18 overall.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, Big Dan. And I hope because of revenue and because of money and because of eyeballs, and I'm gonna prove my point right here. That they think that's going to be better for the game when last year, in 2019, Nielsen estimated that 73 million persons 18 plus filled out a total of 170 million brackets, both online and on paper.
Big money in it if you win.
It's big money, but, let's go back and see that bracket. Let's see how many mid-major teams rather than Power 5, Power 4
I mean, there's got to
programs.
drum up some interest if your team's in it. But, I mean, as we well know, our team's not in it much, certainly not in our lifetime overall. And I filled out a bracket every year I can remember. So maybe it's not a big deal. I guess that should never. I guess the question they got to ask themselves is: are there 68 teams in this country better than Oklahoma? I don't think there are.
I don't know. But I'm just.
I mean, is that how they do it, though?
I'm just afraid, and I said this a while back to you, just in passing and in conversation. We're talking about television rights and money, big freaking money. I mean, I knew when I heard they had canceled the NCAA tournament for 2020 when COVID hit.
Yeah.
I looked at the guys. I was at the bowling alley with my bowling team, the Pocket Pounders. And
love that.
Isn't that great? But I looked at them then and there and was like, this just got serious.
Oh, yeah. If they're going to cut out billions of dollars.
They're going to cancel the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. All those cities involved, the money.
Serious.
Yeah.
Big time. But, I'm going to keep searching with this and we'll update it. But my biggest fear is you have networks. I mean, that's why you're watching that shit on True TV now. That's why you're watching it on, who could fucking Telemundo? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that's why, because there are so many eyeballs on this tournament this time of year. It's big, big, big time money. And they've made it for years having the most fairway and without, I don't know if this is the best way to say it or not, but without having any kind of real prejudice towards institutions and their size and their demographic.
Right.
As far as I know, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So it just scares me, and I hope not.
Well, and people would say, there's no way they did that. Listen, if there's an extra dollar in it, it'll get done.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about that. One thing about college sports that differs than pro sports is like, okay, in Division I, depending on the sport, you've got 100 plus teams, right? It's more than 100, but let's just use that number. Well, in a pro sport, you got 30 teams. 30 teams. So each team represents a bigger fan base per team than, say, a college, in theory. I don't see how they're going to survive with the money the way it is without pricing their fan base out of the market. I don't see it. I don't think it's possible economically speaking.
That's another thing. I mean, My goodness. You know?
It's a different, bless you. It's a different episode, but when we went to that UT game the other day, baseball game, it was a last minute decision. There were open seats and it was cheap. It was $21, which, you know, when I was 10 didn't sound cheap, but now that's cheap. You can't do anything for $21. And we had really good, great seats. Okay.
Yeah. You guys were basically like where short fielder would be in right field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Line,
yeah.
You know, so that's a great
field. It looks great. But I looked ahead because there's some big SEC games coming up at home, Florida, for example. And guess how much those are?
Standing room only tickets are $80 a piece.
Yeah. I didn't see anything less than 100.
Yeah.
Now, standing room only tickets, they're not bad. They're on the wings.
No, they're not bad, but all of those were bought. And the only reason I know this because I got a good friend who gets season tickets, and so you have 3 tiers of season ticket holders. So that we'll just say A, B, and C. I don't know if that's exactly how they're broken down, but we'll say A, B, and C for it's easy to follow along at home, right?
Yeah.
So season ticket holders A get first right of refusal on SEC ticket games of buying tickets. And then Group B gets second, and then Group C gets third. Well, my friend is in the Group C category. And by the time on the day of the release, the day the university released it, those to these people, the only things left were standing room only tickets. The other season ticket holders had already bought up the tickets, and not only were they all sold on that day, but they were posted that same day by those season ticket holders to sell back
on Ticketmaster.
Right, for people that come in from Florida, from Kentucky, from
and
on and on.
That's
and
the
on.
point I was going to make that you just brought up. There is a money gap here. Somebody was talking to me about concerts and how outrageous they are. Taylor Swift, $1,000, whatever else. And here's the thing: that Taylor Swift's not making that money. These buyers are buying up all these tickets at face value and then reselling them. And they're doing it in sports too. So let me make sure I understand what you said. So if you're a tier 1A top, you already have season tickets, right? They give you first right of refusal. So, hey, for the first 2 hours, you can buy, basically, how it would work. For any other ticket, any ticket. So what you've got to do is become an A season ticket holder, and then you get rich on Ticketmaster.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get rich, but you're certainly going to have you're going to have a better side hustle than B or C is.
Yeah, sure. So you go on there and you buy 10 seats at whatever face value is, and then you turn around and make 1,000% profit.
Yeah, no,
sounds to me like, and you do that on all 3 sports over here, and that's the people down there at the Vol Navy. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that, and I guess it probably applies to every sport too. There's the same thing, right?
I would imagine. I don't know that for sure. I just know I have that reference.
They're going to price themselves out. I mean, who's going to pay $200 to go watch a college baseball game, just a regular season game? I'm not.
Well, a regular season SEC game.
Yeah, but I'm not a baseball.
Well, you and I aren't.
No, but we can sit on the third baseline in Wrigley Field for that. Right. I ain't paying that.
No, I understand. And even if I can't afford it, number one.
But it's
number two,
even
if I could, well, somebody is.
Yeah, but
the same goddamn fucking, whoever these assholes are out that are driving. I mean, I say assholes. We probably got some assholes listening that drive them, but 80, I don't mean it that way, but same people are driving fucking $80,000 pickup trucks.
Yeah, I know.
Same people are buying $375,000 stick-built homes.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people that.
I understand. I'm just saying you can't say nobody.
But I mean, you've been to a football game, hellfire. There ain't 100,000 people. There's not 90% of those people are not in that income bracket. There ain't no way, because it's just the population alone numbers. It's just not. And what I'm saying is they have to do it as a treat. And I'll tell you where all this shit started. We're off on a tangent, but I'm going to tell you who started all this shit. It wasn't sports. Who started this high ticket price shit? Who started it?
Michael Jackson.
No,
or
Disney.
The Eagles.
Disney, by God. I'm talking about in general.
Fuck the Eagles, man.
Yeah. Had to get us a quote in there.
Hey, get you Lebowski in there.
Yeah, so
Disney.
Okay. You got to go, right? You got to take your kids.
Oh,
$200 a day or whatever.
I mean,
and listen, and they're going to price themselves out of the market. There's no chance in hell I'd pay $200 to go watch a college baseball game. Now, if it was in Omaha and it was the national, okay. And then you know what I'd call that? Hey, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's like going to the Masters and walking around if you can get in.
Well, it's the World Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I might pay $200 for that, but I'm not.
And you're going to see 3 games in one day.
Right. Yeah, they don't make you re-ticket.
If you buy one ticket.
That's right. They don't make you re-ticket.
So that's would be like buying an attorney ticket.
Yeah. No, that in that case, your value obviously is much higher. But I'm saying is that you made this point is that if you're a family of 4.
Oh, you need a cosigner.
$1,000 to take your kid to go see a bunch of other kids play baseball.
Yeah, $60 for a Modelo and a Dodger dog.
Yeah, and
I don't know how much
beers were $15 and $16. Hot dogs were $5.
I bought one beer at the Cubs game this year, or last year.
But you know why you bought it? So you could say I bought one beer at the Cubs game.
Yeah, and it was a Budweiser and. Hey everybody! I'm a Cub man and a Bud man and a Cub fan. That's why I bought it. But no, I'm in no way saying anything different than you are. I'm just saying it in a different way. It's ridiculous. That's what we should. That would be a good podcast episode. Is premium live event ticket pricing.
Yeah.
And not just PLE premium live event. And oh my God, do you know what it cost if you wanted to go to WrestleMania?
Get the fuck.
Let's say you wanted to sit 5th row WrestleMania one night.
One night is $500 minimum.
Ha 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 ha.
Really?
You're an idiot. You're a little idiot. No, $4,500.
Listen.
$4,500.
If I pay $4,500, there would be some illegal shit going on.
Some things we cannot discuss on
That's
this.
right. Not, yeah.
No, I'm with you, man.
No way. When I can watch it for nothing.
Yeah.
And better.
Yeah.
That's one thing
now that's ringside, and I'm not saying that as if I'm trying to,
I understand.
as if it's a selling point. But you think I watch that stuff? I watch the PLE events. I still watch wrestling. And I've on my chat with a couple of friends of mine, Brandon Fusen being one, Tennessee Brando being one, and Chusky. I'm like, at every event, it never fails. I always mention something or say something to the fact. I mean, they're in Jerry World, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't talking about. I mean, we're talking about the Rogers Center. We're talking about Texas football. I mean, they're in. I mean, the
biggest
last
damn
year's
venue
was at Philadelphia.
The biggest venue you can find
where the Eagles play.
Yeah.
Could you imagine sitting in Double J up on the.
You can't see nothing.
And that thing looking about as big as an iPad.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, Big Dan.
I don't either.
But that would be a good podcast of just average ticket prices for MLB, hockey, NBA, NFL.
Let's do that. That'd be a good
concert.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
We could roll concert in it. We could roll wrestling in it.
It could be under the series of shit that grinds our gears.
Yeah, it's part two.
Dicks.
So they're saying on this, you got the CBS one pulled up.
I have hot boxed the shit out of this cigar, and it's because it's so
I know it.
Good. God Almighty. And the thing about it is that you can hotbox our CBS. All right, if they got a bracket up here that is current, which means we're in the number 2 bracket. So
you want to read the South? What you got at first?
They've got it by seed, so they're not doing it as a bracket. This be pretty cool though.
I have this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's same, just different breakdown. They've got Duke, Houston, Auburn, and Florida as number 1 seeds right now, today. Mm-hmm. And then number 2, Bama, Tennessee, Wisconsin.
Which, if you're a volunteer fan,
ought to make you madder than hell.
Oh, really?
They could still, if Tennessee were to win out and win the tournament, they might be a number 1 because they'd have to beat Florida to get to it, or Florida'd have to have at least one more loss. So in the 3rd seed, you've got St. John's, Purdue, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech. 4th seed, Oregon, Kentucky, Iowa State, and Michigan. 5, Mississippi, Maryland, Mizzou, Marquette's in there, Big East. 6, Mississippi State, Memphis, Arizona, Clemson. Number 7, BYU, UCLA, Kansas, Louisville. Man, that's a bracket of powerhouses at BYU. I mean, championships between UCLA, Kansas, and Louisville.
BYU might be the hottest team in the land.
Could be. Creighton, UConn, Illinois, and Mary C. I don't know what that is. It's 8. Gonzaga's in the 9. They got Vandy, Gonzaga, Utah State, New Mexico, 10. Indiana, West Virginia, Georgia's in there. Baylor, 11. Boise State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, San Diego. Who the hell knows? 12 seed. They've got VCU, Arkansas. McNeese State, is that who that is?
I don't know. Yours is so much different than mine. I can't.
I'm sorry. I was just reading them for the hell.
It's fine. It's
California,
totally fine.
San Diego.
I just can't keep up.
I'm trying to just find SEC teams. There's really no reason to read them all, but Oklahoma's the lowest ranked SEC team in the 64 out of SEC.
And where are they at?
On here, they're 11, but they're in the
okay, so the first 4, let's do it. So the first 4 in the East bracket, first 4 being the play-in games to get to the 68. They're projecting Boise versus Ohio State out of the East. San Diego, SDGST, and Oklahoma out of the Midwest bracket. East, they've got Quinn, looks like Bobcats, don't know who they are. SEMO, looks like Cardinals, don't know who they are. And then Buck. What is Buck? Bucknell. The Bucknell Buffaloes or Bison against Southern University. How about that? So a play-in team. Oklahoma made it in as a play-in team.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me.
First 4.
Projection.
Right.
And as we all know, the official bracket won't be made out until Selection Sunday.
Yeah. Now, that'll be a week from this Sunday for us.
Yeah.
So we'll talk. This will be out before then, but yeah. So, a lot of teams picking a bracket or winners now with the bracket not up, like we did with the women's things. Like, okay, hell, this team may not be in it, but do you have some favorites in mind?
But the women's was projected too. They weren't. It's not been picked either.
Right.
So, well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, let's do this. Out of the South, you can read here too.
Okay, yeah. So
out of the South, who's going to beat Auburn? You got Illinois, Utah State, Mizzou, Liberty, Iowa State, High Point, Arizona, VCU, North Colorado,
A&M.
Texas A&M, Kansas, UGA, Wisconsin, and CCTST. I don't know.
Well, A&M, because they just beat them.
Well, can they beat them? I mean, can they beat
Did
them
they
twice?
not? Wasn't that a
They
Texas?
did. They did.
I mean,
they didn't just. I mean, they beat them pretty bad too.
Yeah.
They beat them by, I believe, 13.
I think currently
Can they beat them twice?
Currently, they've got Auburn projected to be the number 1 overall seed, too. And
But out of this bracket,
that bracket right there, Texas A&M, anybody in the top 3.
Mizzou, Mizzou's a 5 seed here. They're right around, they're ranked right around us as far as the SEC goes.
Wisconsin's pretty tough, too.
Yeah, they're number 2 seed.
So, out of that bracket, I'm going to pick Auburn. I mean, I think Pearl's a great coach. I think that they have got what it takes to make it because they've got a player that can take over a game.
Yeah.
They play good defense. They've beat everybody except Duke. But everybody else that's in their categories an SEC team pretty much.
Now that's projected. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
So anyway, I'm picking Auburn out of that bracket for sure.
So that's out of the South. Out of the East, you got Duke, as Jamie said, is the number 1 seed there.
Bama's in there.
You got Ole Miss, you got Bama, you got Mississippi
John's.
State, you got St. John's.
That's the toughest bracket right there so far.
You got Gonzaga, which may not be a powerhouse this year per se, but seem like those bastards are always hanging around.
God, they got Mississippi and Mississippi State in that bracket. Both.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Bama in that bracket, and BYU.
I'll tell you,
that might be the hardest bracket if it shakes out.
If it shakes out like that, but I mean, these are going to be pretty close because they kind of know. There's going to be a onesie twosies come in and out probably, but I'd say the top 64 pretty locked, really. Man, I'd hate to play against them, Alabama and St. John's in that. I'm picking Duke out of there because I think Duke's the best team overall.
I'd hate to play BYU too because, like I say, man, they might be the hottest team in the land right now.
And that's what it takes.
Besides Florida.
And that's what it takes is getting hot at the end. So
in the West bracket, they have Florida as the number 1 seed. Who's your number 2 seed? Michigan State. There's Izzo. Don't ever count out Michigan State in the NCAA tournaments. Texas Tech's a 3 seed. Michigan's a 4 seed. I didn't think Michigan was that good this year.
Arkansas is a sleeper right there because you've got a coach that's been there a lot. I know you hate him, but still. Florida's tough out there, but I haven't seen Michigan State play this year. So,
but he ain't been there a lot lately. That's why he ain't in Kentucky no
That's
more.
right. Well, he didn't make it far anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. The problem with Florida is that as they proved with Tennessee, and really everybody's got this problem. They really got it. Which Florida team's going to show up? If the team that showed up to play the balls over here at home shows up, they're not getting out of the first round. But I think, like you said, they're getting hot here at the end, and I think that probably top to bottom, they're the best team in the SEC, probably.
Florida?
I think Florida's probably the best team when they're – if you take every team that take the top 4, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and them, if you take those 4 and say, hey, we're going to play – everybody's going to do a round robin, and you're going to play at the top of your ability, Florida wins every game. I think Florida's the best team top to bottom on paper. Now, that don't mean shit, I know. And I hate Florida, so I hope they lose the first game. So, that bracket, though, ain't that tough.
It doesn't seem to be as tough as the
That last one.
the East. Midwest bracket, you got Houston as a number 1 seed. They're always tough, but
This is probably the toughest
you
bracket
got
here.
Tennessee at the number 2 seed, and you got UConn,
Vandy,
defending champions, at 8 seed. You got
Kentucky.
Vandy at 9, Kentucky at 4.
Kentucky's talented too. They could beat you, as they have.
Memphis at a 6 seed, Maryland at a 5 seed.
Boy, the East and the Midwest are the toughest brackets
It's
that they've
tough.
got. I mean, UConn, he's
Purdue,
been there.
3
Purdue,
seed.
yeah, they've been there lately. Memphis is getting, I mean, say what you want, but Memphis is getting pretty credible again.
Yep.
So
Penny's still coaching there?
I think so. Man, that would have been a tough. That's about like Derek. Did Penny play at Memphis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Derrick Rose did too, right?
Derrick Rose. I'm thinking about Jalen Rose. I don't know Derrick Rose. Do I know Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose, he went to the Bulls and won an MVP guard.
Yeah.
That dude right there.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jalen Rose. I know Derrick Rose now, but I don't know where he went to
Memphis
school.
Tigers. He was under Calamari, like to say.
Calamari.
Won the MVP in 11. Youngest player to win the MVP.
Kentucky.
And he got hurt, and, but he was pretty dominant. But, isn't going back to coach your alma mater, is that ever a good idea?
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's had some success there.
Yeah, he's the current head coach.
The one big team here out of all of this that we don't see anywhere in it. And if they don't get in it, it'll only be the second time in school history. Will be, okay, here's where you were reading from. If I'd scrolled down, I would have.
North Carolina.
I could have followed you. Yes, North Carolina, the Tar Heels. If they don't make it, it'll be the second time in school history.
Wow.
So, well.
And I guess so they have the most appearances then.
Yeah.
There's never been anybody in the men's that's not missed.
I think they do. I'd ran across that question and I had it. I believe that's right, Jamie. I believe shoot him again. He's getting up. I believe that's right. I don't know why that's not in here.
Most appearances is Kentucky with 61, North Carolina with 53.
Okay.
But I was trying to see how many they missed, and that didn't tell me nothing.
Oh, I know that one. I don't. You don't have to. You can take my word on that.
No, I mean, is that the least missed? Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
is North Carolina like we talk about the Lady Vols?
Out of
the Lady Vols
schools or out of like the Blue Bloods?
No, just. Lady Vols have never missed a tournament.
Right.
Is there an equivalent to that in the men's?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think there is.
I don't know.
And of course, the men's been around 43 years longer, so that matters. But it's interesting. North Carolina, really, though, haven't they been overshadowed by Duke for 30 years? I mean, really?
Well, I mean... They really haven't.
So?
Well, now, I mean, 30 years,
95? I mean.
No, I understand. But I'm just saying, I mean, they still have more championships than Duke.
Do they?
Yeah, they've got 6. Duke's only got 5.
So Dean Smith won how many? 3? 4?
I think Dean won
5.
No. I think that would surprise you. I think he only won 2 or maybe 3.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because Kansas guy went there.
Mm-hmm. Roy Williams.
Yep.
And he got 1 or 2.
Yeah. I don't like him for some reason. I don't think he won one at Kansas. I'm pretty sure that's true.
Well, wasn't he coaching? No, he wasn't coaching when Manning was there.
I don't think he was. I think it was after.
The little guy with the glasses.
Larry Brown. He won championship and an NBA title. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that. I don't think they have.
I don't like him either.
I don't like him either. Fuck that guy. We don't know him. He's a big shit back then, though, man. He because he went to the Knicks, you know.
Yeah, went to the Knicks, wound up coaching at the Sixers for a while. He was kind of a journeyman through the NBA there.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a journeyman, but a journeyman coach. I don't know if there's a proper term for that. Well,
he was coach of that Pistons team that won the championship. That's how he got his.
Okay.
Wasn't he? The one with
the big guy.
Yeah. What's his name?
I can't think of it either. Plays for, who cares? It's the Pistons.
Yeah, not Bad Boys Pistons.
No, but who cares? It's the Pistons.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Jesus.
I mean, you know. Well, that's some fun facts. Our little fun game. A little news about the Vols. Baseball Vols are kicking ass. At the time we're recording this, we have set the all-time all-time record for most grand slams in a ball game.
Tied it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3. I was there.
And I think we're in the running for the most ever in a season, which was 13. Is that right?
Most in the SEC is 12.
And we've got 8.
And that was ours. And
already.
8 after, because they hit another one.
Yeah.
I don't remember who they played, but.
Well, they hit 3 total.
They hit 3 against Radford.
And then a few weeks back, we were tied going in the 9th inning, and freshman catcher hit one a walk-off, or not a walk-off, but
basically
hit one to win it.
Well, that's what happened in the Radford game. They hit a walk-off and Mercy ruled them in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, Pistons 03-05. He was Larry Brown coached in the Kansas 88. He left after Manning's year.
Yeah.
So, man, he coached a bunch of teams. Like you said, journeyman. But he's old now, man. He's 85. He'll be 85 this year, Larry Brown.
Yeah, I can remember the 3, but that's all I could remember he coached.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, and that's that about the tournament.
Well, we got to pick a winner.
We hope, yeah.
My Final Four is probably going to be Auburn.
Now, we picking a Final Four, we picking a winner?
I'm going to pick a Final Four out of that bracket. And then a winner.
Okay.
Final Four is going to be Auburn, Duke. Oh, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Auburn, Duke, Tennessee, and Florida. That's going to be your Final Four. And Duke's going to win it all.
Duke's going to win it all.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say...
I'm not picking Tennessee not to be in the Final Four. It's the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Are we homers? Yes, we are.
I'm going to say it's going to be Auburn. No, I'm not. I don't know, man. I don't dislike Texas A&M as a school, because I was there and I had such a great experience that year going, and everybody was so kind and polite, but God, I can't stand that basketball coach. I don't know, his little vest, his little face, just something about wants it to repeatedly run into the end of my fist.
No shit.
And not for any other reason other than, well, he did get a little cheeky there couple of times. Golly, Final Four. Come on, Brain. Well, we'll go with Tennessee. And I'm going to go Tennessee, Michigan State. I'm going to go Duke and oh, man, I can't believe that. I guess Auburn. I don't know. Yeah, it's as good as any. What the hell ever. It ain't like
Auburn,
there's ever been a perfect bracket turned in.
No, and coaching matters. And you just picked Pearl.
Well, Pearl is probably the only thing I miss between Pearl and like Barnes as far as coaching goes is we'll take that game last night against Ole Miss, for instance. You got the kid, he's a big, and he was able to get our big out from under the basket, but could take him off the dribble. And I watched him score 8 straight points. And they still played man-to-man. They didn't come out of man-to-man. They didn't go to a zone just until
cost them the ball game.
Until a foul or until
cost them the ball
something.
Game. And a number 1 seed.
Last year against Mississippi State twice, it cost us the ball game because we played man-to-man. And I know we're good. I know we're a great man-to-man team, but
play man-to-man when you're up.
Situational coaching, situational plays, situational basketball. And I think Bruce is probably one of the best in the business at it.
Making adjustments.
For situations. I think he can coach them up better than anybody in the NCAA. I think that's his strong point.
So,
and there's a lot of stuff that, comparatively speaking, there's a lot of stuff that I really like about Barnes better than I do Bruce. But that one thing is critical. And I just could not understand that kid had 20 points second half and 8 straight.
Just eating his lunch. So who'd you pick to win it all?
I didn't. I picked Duke, Auburn, Michigan State, and the Vols. I'm going to say Michigan State.
That's as good a guess as any. If you had to pick one guy, and you all things being equal, and you're going to hire Pearl or you're going to hire Barnes, who you taking?
All things being equal, so age being one of all things.
Yes, if I know Barnes is older, right, than Pearl. I don't know how much though, but if they're both the same age,
quite a bit.
If they're both the same age, here's the deal. Who's the best coach in the country? You said that he's the best in the country at that. Is he the best coach in the country?
If
you hire one coach, is that the guy you go get?
With age not being a factor, it'd be hard not to pick Tom Izzo.
Or Pitino.
Yeah.
Might be the best.
I don't like him either, but yeah, just as far as coaching ability,
I didn't like Pat Riley.
But that's a hard question to truthfully answer because we know so much of their history versus
true.
But given that, most wins, most success, any of those four would be. I don't think you're getting one any better than the other at that
I don't either.
At that level.
I do think those are your top. Hurley's going to have to prove that he just didn't get a great recruiting class and win 2 championships before I'm going to say, oh, he's in the top tier.
Well, and he's going to have to
keep his mouth shut.
Straighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have nothing against him. But, don't pull a Nick Sirianni and start talking to the fans. Screw that shit.
Yeah.
Just coach your team.
Yeah.
Get your W and do your thing.
Yeah, stop acting your age, basically.
Yeah. And don't act like stupid face that's coaching the Commanders right now.
Oh, God.
Dan Quinn, turn your cap around, dude. You're a 50-year-old man and you're wearing your damn cap backwards. That pisses me off.
Yeah, no comment.
And I'm a Washington fan. I've been waiting and longing for them to be good again for so long after that shit show of Daniel Snyder up there all those years. But
I'm a Redskins fan, and what I mean by that is not, I don't give a shit about the name. What I'm saying is when they were the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been a fan since they were the Redskins.
Yeah.
Right? So, but boy, they played hard-nosed football back in the 80s, 90s.
Absolutely.
Joe Gibbs was a great coach.
So
Duke to win it all for me.
Michigan State for me.
Could be a Michigan State final very easily.
Very easily. Yeah, it could be. This cigar, the Zeno Platinum Series, Platinum Scepter Series, I think it is, 5.5 by 52. We already know Jamie's already creamed his jeans over it.
Buy as many as you can afford.
Yeah, big, creamy smokes. Great Ecuadorian Connecticut. It's got a little bit of pop of that Peruvian tobacco and a little bit of unique flavor. But I'd go along with coffee, cream, chewy smoke texture, nutty. There's some nutty creaminess with it too. Did you get much coffee?
No.
I didn't either. I didn't think that
coffee with a lot of cream, maybe.
Well,
a lot of it.
Yeah, but I
didn't get that. I got what you got, basically. That's the kind of smoke right there that you definitely want to smoke inside. And I want to smoke for 2 hours instead of an hour and 15 minutes because I just hotboxed the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
It's not strong at all. Mild.
Very refined.
Refined.
Yeah.
Good word.
Very refined.
Perfect. Doesn't surprise me it's got Davidoff behind it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a huge... I'm like, it's,
I haven't been ever able to afford them enough until they came out with the Zeno and the yellow, then the Zeno Nicaragua. I mean, I couldn't afford. I think you gifted me a couple Davidoff's.
The tubos I had got them.
One of those, and then you got me one of the late hours.
Late hour, yeah.
I still haven't smoked it. I'm still aging it.
But yeah, I don't.
But other than that, I haven't bought them.
Well, the ones I bought and shared with you, that's the only ones I've ever bought.
Yeah.
Ever. So I don't, but man, I know that they were trying to make this kind of like the budget brand. I guess they slapped a platinum label on it. It's like not budget anymore, but this ain't a budget tasting cigar.
No, absolutely not.
That is.
No, absolutely not. If you want to know more about cigars, cigar content, cigar inventory, all that kind of good stuff, go to goodguyscigars. You know what else to do?
It's like on TikTok when they go unalived.
Yeah.
Because they get flagged if they say.
Yeah. But you can check us out there again on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. The YouTubes, and soon to be coming up on Rumble. Check us out.
Ready to rumble.
We'll be playing out. I don't know if this one's going to be in time for one of our shows or not to
April
promote.
Show.
The April show will be second Friday of every month at the Boyd's Jig and Reel downtown.
April 11th.
With the full band, and then the last Saturday of every month for
Trailhead Beer Market.
Trailhead Beer
Solo
Market.
show.
I'll be doing solo there.
And we will be, Good Guys Cigars will be there as well.
Yes. And should we promote the event?
We can. We're having our first event on April 7th at Trailhead.
For Good Guys Cigars.
First Good Guys Cigar event ever.
So come out and visit us with that. And I think that's it. That's been the 2025 NCAA men's tournament, March Madness. Be kind to one another. It doesn't cost a dime to be kind, but there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. You heard it here. One more for the good guys. And Jamie, what else?
Life is too short to smoke bad cigars.
Cheers, everybody.
I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. And either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find.